Yeah, so it is kind of different just because it's like 2 or 3 weeks of training and then you have to go out on a court and figure out a way to perform. But I think most of us kind of have a basic understanding of each other going in because we all know, I know Sarah Franklin and I know Jess Merzick just from playing them. And so, I mean, the training block is definitely a lot of like, okay, well, what do you need in this situation? What kind of sets does this person need? And all of that, figuring it out. But I think we're all such high level athletes that you kind of figure it out along the way. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily hard, but it's definitely a different experience from a college team where you're with them all year round. Yeah, so we had trained for about 2 weeks here prior to leaving, so kind of got to know her a little bit, but it wasn't a ton just because you're in such different routines during summer. It's a lot different than the fall. So while we were there, we really got to know each other a lot more, just on and off the court. We had most afternoons off, so the team did things together, like we went to concerts and baseball games and hung out at the pool. So I was able to get to know her a little bit more off the court. And then also on the court, being able to play next to her was also a huge opportunity for Lexi and I just to learn her a little bit more. Yeah, I think this season's going to be a really good year for us. I'm really excited. If you look at the depth of our team and how experienced we are, it's really special. I think if you subtract the freshmen and then Taylor, everyone else has been to a Final Four. And that's very special because that's 11 people on a roster. I don't know that there's any other roster out there that has had 11 people be in the Final Four and experience that. And so for us, having that many people who have been there, they understand what it takes to get there, is going to be huge. Yeah, I mean, what everyone says about the Big Ten being such a strong conference is true. And every single night, every single match, you have to bring your A game. And it doesn't matter if you're playing the top person in the conference at that time or you're playing the bottom person in the conference at that time. There's a chance that they're going to beat you and they're going to upset you. And so for us, it's great because it gives us an experience to get tested every single night, day in and day out. It pushes us to always be better and always bring our game, and you can't ever take a night off. And so for us, it's preparing us for the postseason because ultimately that's what the postseason is. You can't take a night off. And so for us, it's just good tests along the way. And most conferences don't have that day in and day out. Well, I think each season is so different. Each team, whether we have 10 returners or 2 returners, there's going to be a new identity. And so for us, it's learning from last year, but also moving on. So I think a lot of us took away, A, what it takes to get to a national championship, B, what it feels like to lose the national championship. And so for us, holding on to that, but also not expecting just to get there because we got there last year is going to be huge. And so for us, it's finding that new team identity, whatever it's going to look like for us. And then obviously we're reminding ourselves of what it felt like to lose a national championship and using that for fuel, but also understanding that that's not promised just because we got there last year is going to be a huge thing for this team as well. Say the Penn State match at Penn State in 5, just because I think that was such a big test for our team being down 0-2, and we weren't just like down 0-2, it was like a big down 0-2. Penn State was pretty much unstoppable at that point. And so for us, being such a young and new team, being able to go into the locker room in between the second and third sets and kind of figure it out together and come back out and ultimately a reverse sweep was really cool. And obviously it's a tough environment playing at Penn State. And so
it's rowdy in there.
So for us, that was huge to overcome both just the game itself, but then also the environment. Yeah, I think it's a huge driving force in college sports. And honestly, at this point, there probably needs to be a little bit more rules around it just because it is getting so crazy. And I mean, you hear football stories of guys not even wanting to go out of college because they're making more money than they're going to make out of college. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But for us, it's such a cool opportunity. I know here at Nebraska, I have such a special opportunity being a female student athlete that most schools can't offer just with the NIL that's available to me. And so for me, it's really special because I've also experienced it somewhere else and it's completely different here. And I think as a female athlete, it's really cool to have just because you always see the men's basketball players and the football players having that at other schools. But for us to be up there with them is really special. And I think it's a driving force in recruiting as well because that is so special. I mean, most top college football players can offer the same kids the amount of money, but most top volleyball schools can't. And so for us, it's a big driving force for recruiting as well. I would say the volleyball camp that 1890 puts on is definitely always my favorite, just because I love being able to give back to little girls in the community and share the love of the game with them is always so fun. So I would say that that's definitely my favorite.